New York City's Nobu restaurant is amongst the most famous in the world, and it's only one of various 36 Drew Nieporent has opened over the years and operated in his 5-decade restaurant career. His calling began simply behind the grill at his local McDonald's, and in his new book, I'm not trying to be difficult, Stories from the Restaurant Trenches. He details his rise from humble burger flipper to the head of one of the world's most legendary culinary empires and his adventures and misadventures along the way. But I would say it is not just a book, Drew, about, you know, the good, the bad and the ugly in a sense. There's an enormous amount of wisdom about human character and human nature and how to run things. And, you know, when did you realize that running a restaurant and then running a chain was something you really wanted to do? Not just, you know, this was the goal.
Well, actually, the word chain is a little bit like, that's a word it's not in our lexicon. Sure. Because Nobu is always one, but I have partners who are in their 80s and they still feel that they need to make a great deal of money. Right. So that's when something becomes a chain. No, honestly, I approached every restaurant like a director approaches a movie. And I wanted everything to be separate, individual. And that's why I opened 40 restaurants in 40 years. But the Nobu specifically, I saw the need for that restaurant in New York City, and I made it happen in Tribeca. And as I tell it in the book, it was extraordinary, an extraordinary experience.
But you're not bitter about the way in which you were defenestrated in a sense.
Well, Richard, you know, when you're 70 years old, which I just turned, you develop so much wisdom. Right. You would be amazed at just how things, like, you mellow out. And I'm not trying to be difficult. Really is about they were being difficult. My partners, my chefs. So they were like, they thought I was difficult, but I'm not trying to be difficult.
So one of the things I love about this book is that it's from the restaurateur's point of view. We read so much about the chefs. Right, and the only thing I know about chefs is that they are troublesome, difficult. They may be geniuses, but actually they are amongst the most arrogant people you'll ever come across in the world, he said. And you have to massage it all into a business.
It's unbelievable, but I will say that the most talented practitioners of food are difficult. There's one or two that have been charming and easy, but when you read the book, you'll see that I always, just what you just said, I had to, you know, walk on the edges. But I'm a restaurateur, all about the food. It's always going to be about the food.
But it's got to the restaurant has to make money. There's no great achievement in, and you talk about this again and again, where about the number of people it takes in the kitchen, the number of good ingredients, but it can't be overly done.
If you don't make money, the financial supports the creative. If you don't make money, your partners will be pissed off at you, and the restaurant won't last a long time. My restaurants have lasted a long time. Nobu's now 31 years.
Right.
Tribeca Grill's 35 years. My first restaurant I opened when I was 29, went almost 40 years. So it's amazing.
You also, the cost of a restaurant meal these days is prohibitive. A good, I mean, I'm not going to mention the name of the steakhouse in New York, but I was walking towards the United Nations and I saw the menu outside and I mentally totted up that if I had a starter, a steak with extras, a dessert, and a glass of wine for my guests, we're talking about $150 to $200 a head.
And then if they slap the Wagyu on the beef, it's another $100 on top of that, because Wagyu is this ridiculous breed of I don't even know where it comes from, to be honest. No, the prices in restaurants. I'll tell you what, Richard. Montrachet, when we opened in 1985, $16 for three courses. All my restaurants, I kept the price down. I was the crazy Eddie of restaurants.
Have you got another restaurant, another big name restaurant that you want to open?
I've done so many different ones, but I will tell you that and I do the hamburgers, by the way, at Madison Square Garden, which if you go see the Rangers and the Knicks, you'll have my delicious hamburger. But I have one left in me, and that's a deli. I want to do a Jewish. I want to do a Jewish delicatessen.
Sign me up, and I'll be there to have the pastrami on rye or a
love
good
you,
bit of
Richard.
hot salt beef. You can't beat a good hot
You're a real.
salt beef.
You love food, so I love
I do.
that.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Drew. Thank you.